and welcome to everybody who's made it today or who is watching this on replay. I appreciate you taking the time out to be here, and I hope that you do find this useful. So today's webinar is going to be the first of many in the Strategy for Success series, and we'll be looking at all the different ways that you can optimize the domains of your life in order to be the very best version of yourself. 2024 is going to be awesome. And today we are kicking off with setting goals for 2024. Here is lots of pictures of me. I am Layla, for those of you who know me. For those of you who don't know me, these are all the different facets of my life. When we're introducing ourselves, it's always interesting to be able to present as much of ourselves as we can. It's not always appropriate, but this is my platform, this is me, and this is my authentic self. I'm a 43-year-old mother of 3 beautiful children. My oldest is 21, my youngest is 7. How this all started? Well, I started as a probation officer in 2005, and that included training in cognitive behavioural therapy techniques as a programme facilitator and a motivational interviewer. I worked in prison supporting prisoners in their rehabilitation, and I was also supporting offenders in making better life choices in the community. I learned about supporting people to problem solve, mainly as a facilitator of the Thinking Skills programme, which we'll talk about later. Sorry, this is a bit more in depth because this is the first time that people will be seeing who I am, so I'm just explaining it all now. I finished my last role with the probation service in 2015 when I was commuting from Bordeaux to London, and I was about to give birth to my last child, so we thought best that I stay in France with the 3 kids and my poor husband who was looking after them and working full-time. I then became an estate agent in France, and I learned French. I was supporting people again, but in a different arena. I worked for 3 years in regular real estate, and then I moved into selling luxury chateau, waterfront properties, luxury apartments. And generally my clients were high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals. So I've kind of done the whole spectrum of supporting people from both ends of society. I definitely felt a calling to come back into service, but this time with more control over my own brand, with a service of coaching, mentoring and strategy, which is where I am today. My clients are in France, Brazil, Ibiza, London, Paris, and anywhere in between. I have an International Coaching Federation recognised certificate, and I'm also training to be an NLP practitioner. So one of my learnings, which is reflective practice, is something that we learn as probation officers, and I think it's something that we should all do. It's quite current now with journaling, but reflecting on what we have achieved, what we've done, and how we can do better is always a good place to start. So one of my learnings from 2023 is be prepared. Be prepared as you can, because no matter how prepared you are, there will always be curveballs that mean if you're not prepared, you are going on a slippery slope to not achieving your goals. Change is about resistance, so being prepared is the best way that you can get through that. So I don't know if you guys wanted to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, okay. So I'm Claire. I used to be almost your neighbour, I guess, southwest of France. And I'm an English teacher to adults. Love my job, but I'm currently looking to leave the company where I work and be 100% auto-entrepreneur.
Yes, amazing.
Self-employed, which is scary. Never done that in my life before, but I'm ready.
Amazing. You're in the good place to do it. What's one of your learnings then?
My learning is, I would say no. Learn to say no.
Amazing. Lovely.
Yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. Natasha.
I'm a bit scared to ruin your recording with a crying toddler in the background.
I can't hear anything, don't worry. Okay. This is real life.
I'm Natasha. I've got too many kids. I was an auto-entrepreneur before, teaching English exclusively, and then went on to doing translation, and eventually changed it all into a company to kind of cut out the middleman as much as possible. So now I'm running a small business that just does everything language related.
Amazing. And what's one of your learnings then from 2023?
I'm just listen to myself more and be realistic in my expectations of myself.
Okay, brilliant. Really good. Fantastic. Well, thank you, guys. Right, this is something that you will see with me if you work with me already, that you know I go on about this all the time. Above everything, be kind to yourself, because life is hard. There are highs, there are lows, we're exhausted, we're caring for other people, other animals, we're working, we're doing the best that we can, and self-compassion is the only way that you're going to get through this without falling down on your face. So I have a couple of techniques. One of them is the 3 things technique, which is if you wake up and things are just feeling impossible, just set yourself 2 or 3 goals maximum for your day, and then anything else that you achieve is a bonus. So did you get up? Did you get washed? Did you get yourself to work? Did you make yourself some food? Did you hang the washing out? Whatever it is, it could be small, it could be big. Did you get through your work day? Once you've done those 3 things, that's it, you can rest. You know, maybe just rest your brain because you've still got stuff to do at home, but give yourself a break and be kind to yourself. The other thing that you can do, if you are really not feeling it, is think about how you would be compassionate towards somebody else. What would you say if I said, you know, I'm absolutely useless, I haven't done this, I haven't done that? I'm sure that you would find some nice, kind words to make me feel better about that situation. So definitely try and practice that on yourself. Always try to be positive about what you've achieved in the day, and try and just let the negative stuff, feel it and then let it go. So the content of today's webinar, we are going to briefly look at a definition of a goal, where I am today versus where I want to be. We're going to go over SMART goals. Everybody knows the acronym, but it's quite nice to just have a little rethink of that. The balance and your why you want to set these goals, which is one of the most important things. Any challenges, obstacles and resources that we need or that we'll come across, or that we don't need, challenges, and what questions we need to ask ourselves. I will show you then a goal setting planner, which I will then send out to you at the end of this, and we'll have resources and any questions if anybody's got anything they want to ask. Okay, so let's get into this. So the definition of the word goal from the dictionary is the aim or the object towards which an endeavour or effort is directed. And I like the idea of looking at a goal, a football goal, because if you want to get to that goal, you need to push that ball towards the net. You don't want it to go to the side. You don't want it to go in front. You want it to go in the goal. So the goal has to be super clear, super clear. And you're not going to manifest that ball into the goal. The wind is not going to take it into the goal. It's not going to roll on its own. It has to be an effort. It has to be a challenge. And it's not always a bad effort or challenge, but if you feel resistance and you want to achieve your goal, you've just got to find a way to keep going and work on what that resistance is. Every waking hour is an opportunity to make progress towards some kind of goal. And that doesn't mean that we're not human, we haven't got other responsibilities. But if we do want to make progress towards one specific goal, we need to keep that in mind. We've got to be focused on where we're going. So this concept of where I am versus where I want to be first came to my attention during my training as a probation officer and a facilitator of the Enhanced Thinking Skills program in 2005. It's a phrase and concept that really resonated with me when I first saw it. So where you are today may not be exactly where you want to be, but if you can define and be as specific as possible about where you want to be, then you are essentially creating your own roadmap to your goal. So looking at this concept, I want you to really think about where you are today, what is going on for you, and where do you want your goal to take you? So questions to ask yourself might be, where do I want to be with my work? Where do I want my physical health to be in the future? What do I want my work environment to look like? Do I physically want to be in this home? Am I doing all the things that I want to do today? And if not, where do I want to be? So any aspect of your life where you feel like you want to see a change being put into action. Right, SMART goals. So when we get to your goals, they have to be specific. There'll probably be a brainstorming initial part, but then when you look into the whys of your goals, which we'll come to afterwards, then your goal will become a lot clearer and easier to keep front of mind when there's resistance from you, your body, your negative thoughts, or external resistance, family, friends, co-workers, partner, etc. So if we look at this, and I'll use my example, one of my favorite goals is get strong. That's a thing that I like to keep it's one of my main goals for this year. Specific, what exactly do I want to achieve with this goal? Well, I want to be strong. Who's involved or responsible for achieving this goal? That's just me, nobody else. What is the purpose or reason behind this goal? When I look at my whys, I'll tell you, but mainly just to be healthy. Are there any constraints or limitations you need to consider? There are loads. I had to write a list of them. Measurable. How will I know when it's accomplished? Well, in this case, I actually went to the gym and I was measured, and I had my bone density measured, my BMI, loads of other metrics. So that was actually quite clear. You might have another idea if you've got a business goal. Maybe it's the amount of clients that you're going to have, how much money you want to earn, but definitely have something measurable that you can actually write down and then compare back to after a certain amount of time. Can you track your progress using this, either with percentages or specific metrics? And knowing what your baseline is, it might be 0 clients or 10 clients, and then knowing where you want to be, just so that you've got that way of measuring your progress. Is it achievable? Is this goal realistic? Realism is something I think everybody struggles with. We all struggle with this notion of we have a finite amount of time, we have a finite amount of resources and constraints, because we're all doing probably a lot more than we give ourselves credit for to start with, and a lot more than is feasibly possible if we want to achieve all the things that we want to achieve. And so really understanding, is it achievable? What skills do you need? What knowledge do you need? Do you need resources? Do you need to delegate? If it's something like setting down to read a book every night, is this really achievable? Or do you just have to set yourself a smaller goal of 1 chapter a week? Do you have the book with you next to your bed? Are you making this goal achievable? So relevant, does this goal align with the bigger picture in your life, work, and other priorities? So for example, if I'd set myself the goal to get strong, and I was coming up to the summer and I was about to move house and I was homeless, it's not really relevant at that time. That was not a good time for me to set my goal. So you need to know whether your goal is relevant for that moment, because actually just create frustration if you want to get going with the goal and it's not the right time for you right there and then. You might have other priorities which you can't ignore. And so, yeah, just keeping that front of mind. Does your goal support your values and aspirations? Will achieving the goal have a positive impact on your life, on your business? These are all things that are going to give a little bit more weight to your goal. And then time bound. What is the deadline or target for achieving this goal? I don't have a deadline for my getting strong. I'd like to just do it forever. But if you have a more specific goal, like getting new clients, or you want to start training, then maybe your training will start in January. So you have a start date, you have an end date. Those things, write them down, make sure that is part of your goal, because then if you're trying to achieve other goals, at least you can see how much you've got going on at the same time. And it's also really important to be able to measure your progress as well, so it all ties in together. Balance. So when we talk about everything in balance, there are the 8 principal domains in your life that will have an impact on how you're feeling at any one time. There is nothing in isolation in your life. I think that everyone can identify a time when they have wanted to achieve a certain goal, but there's been something maybe in their physical health that has stopped them in their tracks. There have been family commitments that have meant they haven't been able to fulfill that goal. So we need to really be conscious of the human ecosystem. Like, you are just a whole ecosystem. And as soon as we forget that we are part of this ecosystem, it's going to be a lot harder to achieve those goals, and the resistance is going to be so strong that might feel like we're failing. So another common one is, for example, people friendship goals. If you've got small children, sometimes it's difficult to have the kind of friendship circles that you had before or the social life you had before, but just know that it's temporary. Childcare and all that stuff is temporary. So then reintegrating a better social life into your ecosystem is maybe something for a bit later on, and you just need to be able to find a way to keep in contact, keep those social links going in the meantime. It's never going to be perfect. It's never about having a balance that is completely stable. It's dynamic all the time. And it's just about being kind to yourself and knowing that you need to incorporate all of these things if you want to achieve any of your goals. If you want this Wheel of Life worksheet, I can give it to you if you haven't already got it. I can send you all the resources through at the end of the webinar. Okay, so understanding my why. There's a lot of why. Why do I want to be strong? What is in it for me today? Why? If I want to be strong because I saw that really hot girl on Instagram and she looked great in her leggings, that's not going to motivate me for very long. I'm going to buy the leggings, I'm going to put them on, I'm not going to look like her. 3 weeks later, I'm still not going to look like her, and it's just it's not going to make me want to be strong. So I really need to know why. You know, the same as meditation. So you listen to a podcast, they told you to meditate. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's changed this person's life. You turn off the podcast, you put the meditation on. 2 days later, you don't know why you're meditating. You've got loads of washing to do. You have to know why you're meditating. Why? Keep going, keep asking yourself the question. I'll give you a couple of examples. So getting physically strong for me. So for me, that managing my mental and physical health challenges is one of the reasons I want to be strong. I want to be muscly and slim because I'm quite vain. I want to have a good level of mobility, which is quite ironic because, as you know, when you do loads of sport, you can't actually walk the next day. But apparently when we're old, we're going to be a lot more mobile. But no, I know when I squat down to get the stuff out of the washing machine and stuff, I feel good. It will increase my bone density, which I saw when I had the metrics taken at the beginning, and then my bone density had increased 4 months later. It was so motivating for me. That's something intrinsic in me. And why is it important? Because I will feel fantastic at the end of it. So all of these things help to really solidify my goals. Better time management. I mean, that's probably on everybody's goal list, but why you want better time management is going to be different for every person. I mean, my time management, look, to ensure I have time to cook, but that's not going to be everybody's why for time management, but it is for me. So understanding your why is super important, and just keep asking yourself those questions. So actually why having a coach in front of you is good, because they keep asking and again. Once you think you've answered all the questions, you'll get another one. So if you can do this for yourself, this will help you to set your goals and achieve them. So the challenges, obstacles, and resources. So there's intrinsic challenges and resources that you have internally, and there are external challenges and resources, which are things that you can't control. So the things that are internal, you can control. Well, sometimes emotions and stuff are a bit uncontrollable, but at least you can try and address those things. You have the power to deal with those things. So, one of the things that you might want to ask yourself, if you've got a goal that you want to achieve, is what is actually going on for me today? What's going on in my headspace physically? Have I got anything going on that's going to stop me achieving this goal? Or perhaps I'm super ready today, I'm feeling really good, this is a good time for me to meditate. I've got the headspace for it. If you are stopping yourself, how am I stopping myself? Am I procrastinating? Why am I procrastinating? Or am I helping myself? How am I helping myself? What techniques am I using to help myself today? And if those are techniques that work, write them down, use them again on another day when you've got those blockages. Are there things that are more sort of deep that you need to address? Do you need to have therapy to work on some of those things that are blocking you? Are there self-esteem issues that are stopping you moving forward? These are all things that we need to be realistic about when we're looking at our goals, because if we have self-esteem issues or self-confidence issues that are going to stop us at some point, we need to really be ready to come in with some more tools and ways of working through these to be able to achieve our goals. So what else can I do to improve in this area? Do I need extra training? Do I need to read more books? Do I need to listen to more podcasts? Do I need to speak to my coach? What do I need to do to get past these challenges and blockages to achieve my goal? Then, of course, there's the external challenges. So, for example, if your goal is to set up a business, what challenges are there? So have you got the resources? There may be an initial investment that you need to put in. Do you have the money for this? Do you have the capability to maybe do the things that you need to do on your own? So if it's technology, can you do all that stuff yourself? Maybe a smaller amount of investment is needed if you can just buy a Canva subscription, for example, or go into something where you don't have to give a lot of money to one person at the beginning. And then the other things like time, your time is finite. And are you working full time alongside launching another business? Do you have caregiving duties on the side? Is it even realistic to factor in extra responsibilities? And if it isn't, and you have done a calculation of how many hours you've got in the day, where can you bring some time in? What can you move out? How can you reshuffle your day so that you're able to fit in everything that you need to fit in to get on with your new project? So, and is there anything else that you can do to overcome challenges in this area or access to resources? If you're in a relationship, for example, and you need the support of your partner, what do you need to communicate to them if you need their support? Do you need to tell them what you need to do if they need to be able to come in and help you with your goal? Even if it's reading a book, for example, and you need someone to look after the children or care for the other person or look after the animals, letting that other person in and understand what your goals are is also really important. And that's about setting your boundaries as well, which we'll talk about in another webinar. So here's my worksheet that I'm going to send to everybody afterwards. So I want you to write your why here. I'm going to send you a mind map as well, so you can do your brainstorming first until you get your goal quite clear, where you want to be. There's a place for you to put all your whys, your SMART elements, the challenges that you're facing, personal or external, and then the action steps. So it depends how long, in the future you want to set your goal for. Maybe it's something that every day you need to set an action step. Maybe it's just once a week. Whatever you do, try and have a way to stay accountable to those action steps, just so that you know that you're moving yourself forward. When I'm coaching people, that's something we go through together, but you can have an accountability partner. If you want to do 10,000 steps a day, for example, you can talk to a friend and say, right, once a week, let's look at how we're doing it. You can go on Garmin and do a challenge with them together. There's loads of apps to help you stay accountable. And just to give you an example of, this is what I did to get my International Coaching Federation coaching qualification. I had to really look at my whys, but by the time that I wanted to do the qualification, I was pretty sure about what my whys were. I really wanted to regain a sense of purpose, be back in service, something that I wasn't doing enough just in real estate. And my goal is so important because it's my vocation. I love supporting people, and that's exactly what I wanted to be doing. The specific goal was to get the qualification. That's also how I would measure it. Okay, so there were the conditions with the resources. I had to discuss with my husband, is this a good time? Do I have the money? Do we have the money to leave the job? All of these things are super important. We might not want to think about them because we might think, oh, we're just putting up obstacles. No, we're looking at all the obstacles and mapping them out so that we can deal with them. When was the time I was ready? As soon as I made the decision, I was ready, but I had to wait until the course started, which was in January. and then I got my qualifications sent through in October. So the challenges I had, the language barrier, for each of these challenges, I had to work on my mindset. The language barrier is something that I probably shouldn't refer to like the differences in genders, but I feel like men are a lot easier at take on the communication, even if they haven't perfected the language. They seem to not really have a problem with that when I'd seen expat men speaking. And I always think about that, like, just think, it doesn't really matter if they can understand everything that you're saying, or the conjugation's right, or, you know, you don't understand every single word. Just listen, absorb as much as you can. And actually the language barrier at that point wasn't that much of an issue for me anyway. And the words that I didn't understand, I would hear them over and over again. I'd just do what I did at the beginning, write them down, and get and translate them afterwards. Losing confidence in my abilities, again, it's a mindset thing. You've just got to keep at it, keep going. What can I do to increase my motivation, my confidence? And for me, it was just coaching, coach as many people as you can, as often as you can. Keep going. Don't listen to all the other noise, people saying do this, do that. Just go for it. External things, fitting it around my work, building knowledge of marketing strategies. I mean, that was marketing today. If you're starting a new business, your business is just marketing to begin with. So building knowledge of marketing strategies is just another challenge that we need to overcome in order to make our business work. The action steps, well, because I was doing a course, it was all kind of fairly straightforward, but I did have to push myself to go out there, get some clients. After a couple of months, I was reaching out to get pro bono clients. I wasn't sure whether I should get Anglophone clients or Francophone, but I got both. And then I had to start doing all my reflective practice and transcribing my coaching sessions. And then at the end, in the 6th month, I submitted my work and just carried on with my business. So that was my goal. It's quite an easy one to show, because it's got a beginning and an end. Your goal might not have a beginning and an end that's as clear, but try and define it as much as you can. So these are the different resources that I would use in order to achieve my goal, to write it all down. And I can send you these through so that you can have a little look and start writing your goals. You can print this out as many times as possible. Try not to do too many goals at once. If you really want to achieve something, just 3 goals, 3 really good goals. I mean, we're always striving for something, aren't we? So yeah, 3 really good goals. And yeah, and hopefully that the whole point of having the Achieve group is that people can come in and we can support each other to achieve those goals. Thank you so much for watching today's webinar, Setting Goals for 2024. For any comments, queries, requests for worksheets, please email me at hello@leilabodros.com. Follow me on all the socials for all your daily sunshine tips and inspiration. See you soon. Goodbye.